to the Eastern Conference playoff set. I'm going to go over the three playoff series that are set. Of course, we don't know who the Miami Heat are going to face yet. Same thing with the Phoenix Suns of the Western Conference, so I won't preview those series on this episode. But let's start off with the number 2 seed, the Boston Celtics, who had the best record in the NBA post All-Star break, went from being a team that was fighting in that 6-7 hole in the first half of the season, 75% of the season. They bounce back and make it all the way to the 2 seed. Jason Tatum's been great. Jaylen Brown has been great. Finally, like they're finally getting that chemistry together that everybody's been seeing from them two. And defensively, they've just been dogs, making it real hard to get a basket on them. Robert Williams has been great. Marcus Smart has been great. We got to give hats off to Ime Udoka. He's been an amazing coach this year. He should get some Coach of the Year votes just his first year as a coach, or Mr. Neil Long, as I like to call him, I wouldn't have a problem with anybody calling me Mr. Neil Long if I was married to her either. So this is not disrespect at all. This is a salute to you, my man. But they're going to be hosting the series against the Brooklyn Nets, man. I think this is the most intriguing first-round series because, honestly, it's a toss-up. It could go either way, man. This is the biggest opportunity, I feel, for the Boston Celtics in the post-Big Three era. So the post-Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett era. We know in 2018 they made the Eastern Conference Finals when they had an epic 7-game series against the Cleveland Cavaliers where, Jason Tatum in his rookie year was going head-to-head with LeBron James. A game I feel like they could have won if Brad Stevens would have continued to give the ball to Jason Tatum. I don't know if you remember, but Jason Tatum dunked on LeBron and Brad Stevens like, hey, fuck it, we're not going to give him the basketball anymore. But this is their biggest opportunity since then because they're going to be favored in this series. Well, at least they should be favored since Vegas says otherwise. But they're going to have a great opportunity to win this series. I feel like it's the first time that, him and Jaylen Brown are finally in their own. And it's a 2-on-2 type of thing, man. So people are expecting them to win. And this is going to be a lot on their shoulders. Now, they got the home court advantage, and they should have a great opportunity to actually represent the East in the NBA Finals, a place that the Celtics ain't been in 12 years now. So I'm going to take Brooklyn. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, Brooklyn can't play defense. They haven't had that much chemistry together. We don't know what Ben Simmons' status is, even though Ben Simmons took a picture today while he was on the practice floor with, the one of the emojis that he only tweets on days that he plays, and Ramona Shelburne said that there's a little optimism buzzing in Brooklyn that he could play this series, and I think that will change everything if Ben Simmons plays. Not just a series, but I think that changes the whole championship landscape if Ben Simmons plays, because Ben Simmons can actually play his role of defending, rebounding, and being a point guard. They don't need him to score. That was the main thing when he was in Philly. He's passing up open shots. He ain't got to do that shit. And I think if he plays, that's going to be a major factor. But I'm rolling with Brooklyn in this series in 6 games. Because I'm just going to let it out right now. I'm taking Brooklyn in any series in the Eastern Conference against any team that doesn't have Giannis Antetokounmpo on the roster. That's how much I believe in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I don't give a damn what other things you're talking about basketball-wise. You got to beat them. And I just don't think Boston will beat them. I'm not saying they can't beat them. I just don't think they will. And the loss of Robert Williams really evens the playing field a lot defensively for me. And this is a team that Boston, they struggle in the half court. And that's kind of why I wanted the Bulls to play them in the first round. Not saying the Bulls would have beat them, but I do think it would have been a longer series for the Bulls and giving them a better chance just because you have two teams that struggle with half-court offense. Bulls struggling more because Lonzo Ball isn't playing, but that's a topic for another day. But in here, this is a team where I feel like they're going to struggle in this series. And the Celtics honestly have to prove it to me. Like I just said, outside of 2018, they haven't had any playoff success. And that was the rookie year for Jason Tatum when they didn't expect much from the Celtics. We've been hearing every year about how good the Celtics are. They got to go out there and win and show us that they're capable of doing it against a formidable opponent like the Brooklyn Nets. If they can knock off the Nets, I think the sky's the limit for Boston, because then that opens up the door to get Robert Williams back in the second round series where you will end up playing the Milwaukee Bucks and you're going to go one-on-one against the champions. So this series could realistically go either way, but I just think it just comes down to who has the better players on the court. And I'm going to ignore the basketball parts of defense and things like that for this situation. And I think that Kyrie and KD, they're just very hard to beat, man. So I'm going to take Brooklyn in 6 games, and I think it's going to be probably the best, might be the best series, of the playoffs. Maybe we getting the Eastern Conference Finals type matchup in the first round. That just tells you how deep the Eastern Conference has been this year. So I'm going to take Brooklyn in 6, man. I think they move on, and we get a rematch of last year's second round series between the Nets and the Bucks, man. And speaking of Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, they begin their defense of their world championship against my beloved Chicago Bulls. As you see, I got a Chicago Bulls hoodie on right now. The Bulls making their first postseason appearance in 5 years. The last time they made it, of course, was a 3 Alphas team of Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, and Rajon Rondo. Jimmy Butler is now in the Miami Heat. Rajon Rondo is on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Dwayne Wade has been retired and has his jersey up in the rafters over there in South Beach. So a lot has changed since then. And that was a team where they were up 2-0 on that number 1 seeded Boston Celtics team. And then Rondo broke his wrist, and then the rest is history. I really think Rondo breaking his wrist, to me, is a watershed moment in the history of the Chicago Bulls that a lot of people ain't going to talk about. Because I believe that if he doesn't break that wrist, they're going to win that series. And I don't know if the Bulls trade Jimmy Butler. I don't know if the Bulls trade Jimmy Butler, and who knows, what that means about Zach LaVine coming to the Bulls. So that changes a lot right there. So the Bulls are in a hard place right now because the Bucks have been playing great basketball the second half of the season, getting into championship form. They've gotten Brook Lopez back. They've gotten George Hill back. And Giannis has just been unstoppable. I mean, he's the best player in the league right now. And that's no disrespect to Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant is 1B, but I give Giannis the edge because Giannis is better defensively right now. And I think KD played a great defensive game in the playing game against Cleveland, but he just can't do it as consistently as Giannis because of that Achilles injury. So I give Giannis the nod over that. I think for the Bulls fans, and I see a lot of Bulls fans say they're conflicted, and I don't understand why you'd be conflicted because you have to take a zoom-out approach when it comes to this season. A year ago, if you'd have told us we'd been in the top 6, no play-in after winning only 31 games last year, you would have fucking took that shit easily. Easily you'd have took it. And this is also a team that, I don't want to blame injury too much because I do feel like a big factor was effort, and I don't care who's hurt. Effort, you can have effort no matter who the fuck is playing on the court. And I do think this team lacked a lot of effort in the second half of the season. But this is a team that, of the 5 of Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, and Alex Caruso played a combined 95 minutes all season. So they didn't really have an opportunity to really build off that. The offense was way smoother, had more fluidity, more fast breaks with Lonzo Ball in there. Lonzo Ball has basically missed the entire calendar year. And this is the least games he's played in the season his entire career. And his recovery from that knee injury did not go well, and he will be out for the rest of the season. I think Zoe needs to rest up because he's a huge key in this team. He helps defensively. A lot of people forget Lonzo Ball is not a short guy. Lonzo Ball is 6'6", 6'7". He can go out there and guard just as well as Caruso, and also he's the team's best 3-point shooter. And this is a team where this is a successful season no matter how you want to look at it. If the roles were reversed and the Bulls had a shit first half and a great second half, I don't think we'd be thinking, a lot of Bulls fans be thinking the way they're thinking. So I want y'all to take a, zoom out. Think big picture when you think about this. And, Zach's been hurt. Caruso's back has not been good. He's still dealing with that wrist. There's a lot of things that's been going on. But they got to take that ass whooping like a man. I mean, I think it's going to be a sweep. I think it's going to be a clean sweep. As a Bulls fan, I'm just, if they win one game, I will be floored and I will be more than satisfied with one win in the season. I just don't see it happen. I won't say it can't happen. It could happen like a Game 3 situation. You're at home, first home playoff game in Chicago in a while. Maybe Zach and DeMar combined for like 65 points or some shit like that, and they could win. So Bulls fans need to find different things to get you through this series. And I would say, watch how the team fights. If these games are close, that's something you can build on. Zach LaVine is about to enter free agency. He's poised to get a max contract, probably over $200 million that he's gonna get. He's gonna be a very rich man. And all signs point to him easily signing with the Bulls. We really haven't heard anything about him testing the market. I think we all expect him to be a Bull very, very quickly, long term. But I want to see how Zach's gonna play in his first postseason. What's he gonna do out there? What's he gonna show me something, Zach? He needs to go out there and put on a show. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to see how DeMar is going to play. I mean, DeMar has been in the playoffs mad times, but he hasn't really necessarily been good in the playoffs. We all know the nickname, the Frozen nickname. We want to see how he's going to play in this series. Not just as a Bulls fan, I just want effort. That's all I'm asking for. Act like you give a damn. Because they haven't acted like they've given a damn in such a long time, man. So I'm going to take the Bucks in the sweep. I just hope they actually, give us a little fight, man. You got to take your ass whooping like me. You got to learn how to lose before you win. You made the playoffs. Get beat up by the world champions, bit off this in the offseason, man. So I'm definitely going to take the champs in the sweep and then move on to the next round, man. Now we go to the most intriguing Eastern Conference series of the series that we have so far in this playoffs, man. This is the Philadelphia 76ers hosting the Toronto Raptors, man. And as you know, we'll get into later my Goofy Mog of the Week that has something to do with the Sixers. But the Sixers, they might have the MVP in Joel Embiid, and we don't know if he's going to win that, but this is his best chance to win that. James Harden, another postseason of him with another team. I think he has the most pressure out of any player in the playoffs. I know he said that he doesn't have any pressure and all that other stuff. It's bullshit. The lights are all on James Harden. He's got to step up and perform. And obviously pressure is on Doc Rivers. The pressure is on the Philadelphia 76ers in general. I think this team has most pressure out of any team in the playoffs because they went out there and they gave up so much to get James Harden. Now he has to make sure this trade is worth it and to go out there and put on a show. He has been god-awful over these last couple weeks. In fact, here's a crazy stat for you. He only has 2 more field goals made than turnovers over the last 2 weeks, which is an insane stat. So he's got to show up. I'm not worried about Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is going to do what he want to do. He's got to step up. Tobias Harris has got to step up. And it's a two-way thing with Tobias. Tobias has got to step up, and Doc has got to do a better job of getting Tobias more involved in the offense because Philly's not going to win shit. They're not going to win a championship if you don't have Tobias Harris being a legit part of this offense and scoring, which is their goal is to win a championship. It's championship bust for the Sixers. And the Raptors has been a great regular season team. I mean, I got to give a shout out to Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse has been incredible. He's a great coach. For all of you Laker fans out there think he's going to leave his comfortable situation to come to fucking Lakerville, I think you are out of your fucking mind. They're really building like an East Coast version of the Spurs out there, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And this is a team that they can win on the road. They've got a great home crowd, man, and they're going to be able to go out there and really show up and try to make this a tough series. I'm going to take the Sixers in 7. I'm not that confident in that pick. Just want to tell you that right now. Not that confident in that pick. I would not be shocked if Toronto pulls the upset. To me, this is not the team that Philly wanted to play whatsoever. And this is a problem for them. And Philly can also lose home. We've seen multiple teams over these last 2-3 years come to Philly and win the big games. That's really, nothing that's really can stop, that would change my opinion on that. But I just don't trust James Harden. I don't trust James Harden, and I don't trust Doc Rivers. Do my Stephen A thing in. Love Doc Rivers. Cool dude. Chicago. Maywood guy. I give love and respect to all these black coaches out there. Cool guy. I met him personally. He had a good conversation with me about Chicago Bears football in LAX Airport. I'm going to keep telling this story and let y'all know that I fuck with Doc Rivers. But with that being said, I think he's one of the most overrated coaches of all time. And he is not, delivered in big-time situations as much as we've seen. He's really, honestly, and I hate to say this, he's Marvin Lewis with a championship. And I have no problem with that. I have no problem with black coaches being able to be mediocre and get paid. That's the American dream. White coaches get to be mediocre all the fucking time and get fucking away with it. I have no problem with Doc Rivers doing that. But it's time to put up and shut up. You were brought here to win a championship. You got to win a championship. And Daryl Morey, he needs his team to work out because he didn't, put all his chips in one basket, and this needs to pay off, man. So I'm going to go Sixers and 7, but I would not be shocked, not be surprised if Toronto pulls this one out. I think this is going to be a very entertaining series. And by the way, Matisse Thybulle cannot play in games in Toronto because he is not fully vaccinated. And he only took one shot. Now we'll get into that later in this show. But